Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge showdown, probably the biggest one in AI-assisted coding right now. We're talking about the two newest titans on the block, OpenAI's GPT-5 versus Anthropic's Claude 4.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Over the next few minutes, what we're going to do is figure out which of these incredibly powerful new models, and yeah, they both just dropped in August 2025, is the right co-pilot for your coding projects. Because look, it's not about which one is better overall, right? It's about which one is better for you and what you're trying to build.
So, to make the right call, you've got to understand the contenders first. I mean, they're not just clones of each other. They actually come from two really different philosophies about AI. And each one has this distinct personality that totally shows in how it writes and manages code.
Think of it like this. It's a tale of two specialists. In one corner, you've got GPT-5, which we're calling the versatile speedster. It's all about speed, handling a bunch of different languages, and just getting stuff done fast and on a budget. And in the other corner, that's Claude 4, the precision engineer. This one is meticulous, super powerful, and built for those really complex, high-stakes projects where you just can't afford a mistake.
Okay, so let's move on and look at some hard data, right? Let's see how this all stacks up. We're going to start with a really important industry benchmark. It's called SW Bench. And what it does is measure how well an AI can solve actual software engineering problems pulled straight from GitHub. So this isn't some made-up lab test. This is the real deal.
Okay, so right off the bat, if you look at the standard SWE bench results, GPT-5 seems to have a slight edge. It's hitting nearly 75% accuracy, just squeaking past Claude 4 Opus's baseline score. So you might look at this and think, okay, case closed. GPT-5 is the winner. But that's not the whole story. Not even close.
And here's where things get really interesting. This is the twist. See, when you let Claude actually think, when you turn on its special reasoning modes that give it more time to chew on a problem before spitting out an answer, the whole picture just flips. I mean, look at this. Both of the Claude models jump way ahead of GPT-5. Sonnet hits an incredible 80.2% accuracy. This really shows you Claude's hidden strength when it comes to those tough, complex problems.
But hold on, Claude doesn't win every fight. The speedster, GPT-5, has its own home turf. If you look at a different test, the Aider Polyglot Benchmark, which is all about how well it handles a mix of languages, like JavaScript, Python, C++, you name it, GPT-5 comes back and just dominates, scoring a massive 88%. This makes it an absolute beast for any full-stack developer who's constantly jumping between different technologies on the same project.
So, okay, the takeaway here is that performance is complicated, right? Each model has its own arena where it shines. But you know what's not complicated or subtle? The price. And this is where the decision gets really, really practical for most of us. Developers, businesses, you name it.
And yeah, the price difference is, well, it's stark. GPT-5 is just incredibly cheap at $1.25 per million input tokens. And remember, tokens are just little pieces of text the model reads. Claude 4 Sonnet is more than twice that. And then you have Claude 4 Opus, the top-tier model, and it's in a whole other galaxy. We're talking about a difference that could easily run into thousands of dollars a month if you're using it a lot.
Let me put it as plainly as I can. This is the core trade-off, right here. For the exact same amount of code you feed into it, the precision engineer, Claude 4 Opus, costs 12 times more than the speedster, GPT-5. 12 times! You are paying a serious premium for that extra precision.
Okay, so we've seen the benchmarks, we've seen the price tag. Now let's get down to what really matters. How do these differences actually play out in the real world? What can these models do for you when you've got your editor open and a deadline staring you down?
GPT-5 is it's all about speed and being able to do a bit of everything. It's fantastic at what people are starting to call vibe coding. You know, you can just describe an idea, like that French learning app OpenAI showed off, and poof, it can spit out a working app. And because it's multimodal and can see the big picture across a whole project, it's perfect for taking a design mockup and turning it into a real clickable prototype, like right now.
And it's not just about raw speed either. It has this incredible one-shot problem-solving ability. It can look at a tangled mess of dependencies, the kind of thing that would take a human developer hours and a lot of coffee to fix, and just untangle it.
That alone makes it an amazing daily tool for getting past those common, super frustrating roadblocks.
Now, Claude 4, it's a totally different beast. It's the master of complexity. It's built for marathon sessions, not sprints. It can literally work on its own on a single task for over 7 hours straight. And it has this feature called memory files that lets it keep context. So you can stop working on something, come back days later, and it remembers exactly where you were. That is a total game changer for deep, heavy-duty architectural work.
And look, this isn't just marketing fluff. Big enterprise users like Rakuten Group are backing this up. They're praising its ability to make, and I quote, surgical changes in these huge, complex systems. It can refactor code without accidentally adding new bugs, which is, that's the holy grail when you're working with old, mission-critical code.
Okay, so we've got all this info now. The tricky performance benchmarks, the massive price gap, the totally different skill sets. How in the world do you choose the right tool for the job? Well, let's break it down into a simple framework to help you decide.
At the end of the day, it really just boils down to your main priority. Are you trying to optimize for speed and cost on a whole bunch of different daily tasks? Then you want GPT-5, the speedster. Or are you optimizing for absolute, rock-solid precision and power on a huge mission-critical project? Well, that's a job for Claude 4 Opus, the precision engineer. So let's make it super simple. You should grab the speedster for your day-to-day coding, for just messing around and experimenting, and for building full-stack apps when you don't have a giant budget. If you're in a startup where speed is literally everything, GPT-5 is a no-brainer. It's your guy.
And when do you call in the precision engineer? You bring it in for the really big, high-stakes jobs. Think about refactoring a giant ancient code base, or designing a brand new microservices architecture from scratch, or doing some really heavy data science. When accuracy and reliability are absolutely non-negotiable, and you need that enterprise-grade safety, that's when you pay the premium and call in the specialist, Claude 4. But here's the real pro-level strategy. The smartest developers and teams out there, they're not just picking one. They're using both. It's a hybrid approach. They use Claude 4 for the really deep, foundational architectural work, and then they switch over to GPT-5 for the day-to-day grind. You know, implementing features, fixing bugs, and quick prototyping. It's really about getting the best of both worlds.
And that kind of leaves us with a final, pretty big thought. As these tools get more and more specialized, the real skill isn't going to be just using AI. It's going to be managing AI. The best developers, they're going to be more like orchestra conductors or managers of an elite team, skillfully picking the right AI for the right task. The question is no longer if AI will write code. The real question for you is, how are you going to assemble your AI team?